As I posted on my thing, I do all types of music. I don't do just rap. But I want to talk about a genre that I personally made up. See, as a kid, I liked Halloween. And my parents had a cassette player and a keyboard. See, I had to play piano as a kid. I don't play piano. That's pretty much the only instrument I know how to play. I don't know the guitar, the drums, or anything. I know, like, if you put on a computer and you put down the bass and the clap, I know I know how to put the notes down and instrument and all that. That's why I made that instrumental. I'm planning to make more instrumentals. But a genre I came out with, it's a very different genre. A kid like Halloween, my parents would they had a keyboard and they had a cassette player. So what I would do was record myself, the keyboard playing in the background, and a keyboard playing in the background, and I would sing and talk over it, not necessarily rhyme for it, pretend to be vampires and witches and zombies and ghosts and skeletons and mummies and stuff like that. Not necessarily rhyme form. I call it a hauntmon music. And then when I had a computer, right now I have a computer I can't play the chords. And I gotta figure out a music program. I have one called Cool Edit. I gotta reload it. I'm trying to get my music back up. But it takes time, computer down and till I had that instrumental clip you done. I showed you in my first video was made on my old computer, but the computer died, and I had so many instrumentals, and I had folk music, I had rap music and all that. I thought I lost all my music, but I had only instrumentals. I had folk music like traditional, the American or Western songs, and then I found some of my instrumentals. The CDs are kind of scratched, but I am my favorite music artist. Many second ones. I listen to all types of music. So anyways, I'm trying to get my computer back. Anyways, hauntmon. So I had a computer program and I took BGs and instrumentals and NSYNC instrumentals and Tupac and Ice Cube and AC/DC and a country song with Bobo, Seminole Women. And I figured out how to make beats with it. And what I did was talk over it myself, not necessarily rhyme form or sing over it. And I called Monetized Hauntmon. So that's what I've been working on lately. I've been running sound over instrumentals of rap and rock and country and all that. Different gospel and all that. Yeah, so really, I've been writing instrumentals over that. I have a keyboard, but I don't got the chord, and I don't got a cassette player. I was going to make a unmonetized hauntmon song called Album. This is a keyboard and all that. I have two keyboards on a cassette tape called Mystical Philosophical. I have some hauntmon projects I want to do. Modernized, but of course I can't put it out there because of copyrights, but I can at least write the songs and figure out instrumentals and all that. In 2007 when I first came up with Universe Vision Enterprise and Philosophical Mind and Philosophical Time and all that. But the thing about it is, I didn't make no album. My thing to make music every year and put out albums. all types. I definitely want to do a classical song like Bach and Mozart and Beethoven. My first album was in 2007. I was producing. It was mostly rap. I was doing a folk traditional music on the sideline. My rap instruments, I was gonna it was mostly rap, but I was gonna try to put some rock or some country in there. You know, it was called Money in the Power. But you know, things happen. You know, I live in New Mexico right now. Anyways, you know, I'm trying to figure out my first album name now. I'm one of these people, I let the instrumental speak to me, then I write the lyrics. I don't really name my songs until after I do it. But hauntmon is not, you don't have to sound like me. There are two types of hauntmon. Not only modernized and unmodernized. The raw hauntmon, that's cussing and drugs and alcohol and stuff. This is a civilized hauntmon, that's just regular music, not cussing and all that. And a hauntmon is a different style of music because, well, it's invented on the keyboard. And I don't say I invented it. You don't have to sound like me. I talk about, like, I'm pro-tone, but you can make a hauntmon song that's anti-tone. Well, right now, I don't know. We're just gonna have to see how this 4 years ago. But there's some rules to hauntmon, like you have to write your own lyrics. And you have to mean what you say. Like, if you don't live it, or didn't live it, or don't mean it, don't say it. Type of thing. Don't say it type of thing. And like, if you don't live it, you gotta mean what you say. If people protest your music, you can't say, well, just entertainment. And you can use, it doesn't have to be rap and rap and disco and pop and those instruments. You can use rock and country. You can use the same instruments that somebody else used. And let's say the thing about hauntmon is, if you say you're the best, you have to be the best hauntmon artist out there. And that proved by fans. And you don't have to diss on people. It's not about dissing on people, but if you diss on somebody, mean what you say. Don't be like, when you see them in the club or whatever, don't be like, oh, it was just business, blah, 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 I didn't mean what I say, no, it's just business and entertainment. No, you can't say that. You gotta mean what you say. Hauntmon, these are the hauntmon rules. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out what kind of album I want to do. I want to make a religious album, Jehoranism, and a secular album of all types. I definitely want to put classical music on there. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to name the album. I'm probably going to have to figure it out when I start working on it. But I'm hoping to put an album out by a religious album and a secular album by end of this year. It's 2025, I'm 38, 39. So yeah, then I want to put some hauntmon. Of course I can't release that because copyright, you know. But I can record it. And if the instrumental you can do it. Hauntmon's about beat. And it doesn't have to necessarily be like repetitive. You can take Led Zeppelin, somebody that has the whole instrumental or a song over it in hauntmon. Modernized hauntmon. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out my first album. I want to do 2 albums. I want to put an album out every year. I don't do this to be famous, but I really love music, as you can tell.